Alrighty. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Do you pronounce it Meech or Mike? I'm terrible with pronouncing things. I'm very sorry.
Like, I mean, it's a little different. It's not about honesty. It's not really great.
All right. I'm having a hard time. If you guys are talking, I'm not hearing anything from you.
That makes sense, but I mean, that's just some of the I was put in for Spider-Man's. Oh, okay, so I had it. I'm like, they didn't go in this room at all. They're like, they didn't trust the battle room, so they would have had.
Yeah, I can hear you. Oh, he's connecting to audio. That's exciting. Hello?
And then, because like, the one so she was like opening the chat, right? So then she got her approval with the last 46 damage to it. But like when she just opened the previous one that had a potion of healing in it, she just chugged it.
We get to listen to the final wrap up of the last session. Trying to call the audio chat. Let's see. So, it might require that you allow your. Let's see. Something I can control. I can mute. I can mute. Rename. I can put in waiting room. I can report. I don't think I want to do that. Chat. Let's see. Oh, you can't hear me either? Well, that's troubling. So you can't. Oh dear. So I know that sometimes. Let's see. You get to watch me glare at my screen, which is always exciting. That's so weird. I see it trying to do that. I don't know what to do. To audio. It keeps trying to connect to audio, and then it keeps having trouble with it. Like I'm watching it right now. Think very hard about connecting. It wants to. Will it? Maybe. Oh dear. Oh, it's thinking. Mackenzie? Can you hear me, Mackenzie? Hello, Mackenzie.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. Thanks for your patience.
Oh, sorry it's giving you so much trouble.
It's fine. Who knows?
Right?
It's a different beast I'm not very familiar with yet.
Oh, to be sure. Yeah, I've had to learn a lot about this program over the last couple of months.
I bet.
Alrighty. So I sent you guys a couple links in the beginning. I don't know. Oh, wait, I might need to resend them on this computer. I'm not sure. But it has both of your character sheets in D&D Beyond, and then our dice rolling site that we'll use.
Okay.
Should I resend those, or do you have them?
We've got our characters. We just need the dice rolling app.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a nice. Here, I'll do this to everyone.
Would you mind, just since we switched over computers and it went kind of crazy, could you send my character over again?
Absolutely. I think we sent yours first, so let me just. Oop. Did that one work? So the dice rolling program is pretty simple. It should say the Dragonspear Castle Siege at the top, and just below that, you can change your name. And then you click on whatever dice you want to roll, and then hit roll it, and it'll pop up there.
Okay, let's see here. Okay, Dallas Dice Roller, that's me.
If you want to be Dallas Dice Roller, Lord knows I won't tell you not to, but.
Oh, you're going to put your real name?
Speaking of names, do you guys know what you would like to name your characters?
We do.
Yes.
Excellent. Let me pull that up real fast. So, Mackenzie, what did you want to name your character?
My character's name is going to be Millie Youngdollars.
Ooh. How do you want to spell her first name?
Millie.
And then was that Yundollars?
Yes.
I like it. And then you'll have to forgive me, but how do you pronounce your name?
Micah?
Micah. There we go.
Yes, yeah, that's me.
Sorry about that.
Oh no, that's okay. I appreciate you asking.
So, Micah, do you have a name for your character?
I do. I'll just type it out. I'm the BB.
I like it. So I have added those names onto your character sheets. So if you want to refresh that, this should pop up. So we'll just dive right into it then. Couple quick questions for you guys for a little bit of customization. Your characters both have a magic item that they've collected through their travels. What kind of magic item do you think you would like for these characters?
No, I'm good.
I want something that'll help me rage as a barbarian.
Okay.
Feel my bloodlust.
So a weapon, you think?
Yeah, a weapon or something that would.
I'll give you a bow.
Yeah.
The other option, so you already have a pretty good constitution. I was going to say the other option would be there is an item that increases your. There's one that increases your strength. You can just be stronger.
Okay.
There's another one that can increase your constitution to make you a little bit hardier. But your constitution's already very high.
Okay, yeah, I'll do this.
I suppose so's your strength, but let's see. So yeah, kind of the options. A lot of times that I like to think of it as an offensive item, a defensive item, or sort of a utility item, something that you would use like kind of outside of combat. So we're looking for offensive. It sounds like.
Yes.
Alrighty. Let me look up real quick. Goodness, what are they called? It's the Gloves of Ogre Strength. And then for Millie, would she want a utility item, an offensive item, or a defensive item?
I think utility.
Okay. Do you want it to be something that helps you? So you basically, you got a bunch of different options: running, jumping, climbing. Is there something in particular that you think she'd like to be able to do?
Let's see.
And I know I'm springing a lot of stuff on you right at once, but you know.
I think she kind of likes to be sneaky.
Sneaky?
Yeah.
Ooh, I like it. And this will actually be good for you to have because because you're a cleric, you can wear heavier armor, which means you are a little easier to hear. However, if you grab Boots of Elven Kind, you can essentially compensate for the extra noise that you're heavy armor makes.
That sounds perfect.
Yeah, I like it. So I'll go for boots, elven kind. Alrighty. And we don't need to attune to them, so you're good. So yeah, if you guys if you refresh your character sheets, you should see your stat changes reflected on that. So your characters, what is that? Baron looks like?
Yes.
Baron and Millie. Quick question: how did Baron and Millie first meet?
That's an excellent question.
I'm gonna say I was in the middle of a blood rage,
Ooh.
and I was done slaughtering my foes,
Okay.
and I was mortally wounded, and she came to my aid, and we've been friends ever since.
Sounds like something I would do.
So the two of you have known each other for a while. You maybe owe her a life debt.
Absolutely.
Heck yeah.
The two of you have joined a treasure hunting agency. It's based out of the city of Waterdeep. Do you guys know the Sword Coast at all?
Golly, no.
What's
Like
up?
me? Mackenzie, no.
So the Forgotten Realms is sort of the main place where D&D is set. In it, you've got the Sword Coast is the western. I guess would it be the? Yeah, it would be the western coast. If you look at the map and you look at the different stuff, essentially it's the West Coast, and the main city, Waterdeep, is Seattle. So if you're wondering sort of what the look and feel of it is, just look outside. You've got Waterdeep for itself is an incredibly large and very wealthy city, but it doesn't actually have much territory it controls. It's a city-state. However, just due to its sort of centralized location, a lot of times people will come to there to do trading and that sort of thing. And this is from the place from which you are sent out on different quests and missions to gain resources and things. You've been on a couple missions together, one of which took you to the Moonshae Isles, a set of isles just off to the south and west of the coast. But on this trip, your ship was wrecked, or possibly you just got thrown off the side. One of you got thrown off the side, the other one dove in after them, however you want to say it. The moral of the story was you ended up stranded on an island. Now, this island happened to be filled with these strange people who were sort of fish-like in nature. However, they were worshiping a kraken, a powerful entity. How did your characters get off the island? Did you confront and attempt to attack these islanders that were worshiping the kraken? Did you attempt to use guile to convince them that you, in fact, were sent by the kraken itself and needed to be sent back out into the ocean, or something else? How did you deal with these kraken worshipping peoples?
I think I would have a tendency to attack them.
Attack
with all my might, because especially I hate murlocs. So
gotcha.
I've got I really don't like fish people.
Okay, so maybe your dwarf grew up on like a coastal area and were constantly attacked by Sahugin and Marrows and things. I like it.
Yeah.
So your solution is we will craft a vessel from their broken body. No, not really broken body. Steal a ship from them and then make your way out. Excellent. Okay. So in your last mission, not the one you were on, we'll get to that one in just a sec, but in your last mission, the group of you found yourself deep underground, trying to find an ancient and forgotten dwarven stronghold. You made the small mistake, and you may have seen this one before on a popular film, but you made a little noise, and from that, a horde of goblins descended down on the group of you. With the rest of your expedition cut off from you, and with the two of you having to fight back to back against this horde of goblins, how did you end up defeating the goblins and getting away?
I would think some kind, like, just with the amount of them, I would think we'd have to figure out some way to either like cut them off or knock them all off a cliff or something like that kind of.
Okay, so you're using the terrain to your advantage. That's actually very helpful with Baron being a dwarf, because his stone cunning comes in handy for being able to tell what pillars are weak and that sort of thing. So you're able to knock a pillar out, cause a collapse, and then sort of take out the rest of them. So this most recent mission, you have been sent out with a wizard named Eldon. Eldon is he works for the same guild that you do, the Treasure Hunters Guild. But he is your sort of item identifier / magic user that will be accompanying you to help you as you go through. He also is the holder of the map. There is a castle that has a bit of a legend to it, a little bit of infamy. About 200 years ago, Castle Dragonspear was built, and it has passed from hand to hand to hand. There's been many different people that have run this castle. The original owner was sacrificed against his will, presumably, to open a portal to Avernus, the first layer of hell. Of the 9 hells, rather. There have been hobgoblin armies that have fortified themselves in this place. There was a bunch of paladins and clerics of Talos. One of the defender gods attempted to set up camp, but they ended up being routed by another demon attack. Another army from Waterdeep and Baldur's Gate had to be sent to the castle to rout these demons, and then finally a deep mist has settled over the castle, and undead have been seen wandering in and out of it. That being said, there has been rumor that treasure has been found again at the castle. So the 3 of you have headed south from Waterdeep along the Trader Way to Castle Dragonspear. On your way to this castle, you have found a small cottage, abandoned, that you have decided to hole up in for the night. You're going to, you've still got a couple more days till you make it to Castle Dragonspear, so actually sleeping in a bed will be a nice respite. You've been on the road for some while. As you go to sleep, Eldon will recommend that the 3 of you have set up watch. So then the first question is, which of you would like to be on watch first?
I will be on watch first.
Excellent. So what I'm going to need from you is a perception check. Now, you guys have not played D&D before, yes?
Correct.
Excellent. So in D&D, the dice that is king is the D20. If you look at the roll dice with friends, it's the red one with the little 20 on top.
Okay.
Basically, anytime you attempt to perform a skill check or try to attack someone or need to save against magics or explosions or things, you'll roll a 20-sided dice and then add something to it. At a base level, everything is derived from your 6 stats: your strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. You can find those at the top of your character sheet. There's going to be a number and then a number with a plus next to it. The number by itself is almost never used, but it can get for you that bonus. So for instance, Baron, your strength modifier is a +4. It's because of your gauntlets of ogre strength, you are quite strong. Now, if you'll notice, while your character is quite strong and very thick of body, he's not too smart of mind. You've got 8 intelligence, 10 being the average, which means you have a -1. So intelligence-based things you'll struggle with just a little bit. I figured that was probably okay for this character because while he's good at surviving out in the wilderness, and he's not too bad at scaring people if he wants to, complicated math equations and learning in school wasn't necessarily his strong suit.
No, I can't eat math problems.
You're right, and that's a real shame. Mackenzie, you'll notice on your character sheet, you've got, you still got a pretty good strength. You're much more dexterous, however. You've got a lot of dexterity to you, and that dexterity combined with your shield and the armor that you're wearing means that you're actually very difficult to hit. Your armor class, which you can see, I don't know how it looks on your guys's, but it'll be near your initiative and that sort of thing, is 18, which is the number that you need to hit to be able to hit you. So
Very nice.
you're a stalwart little gal, hard to hit. However, you're not terribly charismatic.
I saw that.
maybe sometimes have a hard time sort of, asserting yourself in social circumstances, but you're pretty smart and you're very wise, very dexterous. So the first thing we're going to do is, if you look below your stats, below your saves, or actually, yeah, there should be something that says skills. Do you see that?
Yes, the big list of them.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of them. In that big list of skills, there's one that says perception.
Yes.
So you'll notice that you have a handful of skills that have little pips next to them. That means you're proficient in those skills. Because you're a 3rd level character, your proficiency bonus is a +2. So you're going to add your associated stat, so in this case your wisdom, plus your proficiency bonus, a +2, to give you a total of a +3. So whenever you're trying to use your perception to notice things, you'll add 3 to your dice roll. So could I get you to roll a d20 for me and add 3 to it?
All right. Roll it.
Alrighty, so you got a 17.
Yes.
So now I need to roll for something secretly. Okay.
Oh,
Don't worry about that. Are you going to patrol the cabin from around the outside, or are you going to just check through the windows to keep an eye on the building?
Well, I'm going to say I've probably been drinking a little bit that night, so I'm going to take a stroll around the outside.
I like it. The cool mountain air feels good on your sort of the hotness of your drunken face. But other than that, with the exception of the sound of a wolf howl from long ways away, your watch happens uneventfully. When you go back to the cabin, are you going to wake up Millie or Eldon?
I'm going to wake up Millie.
Sounds good. So Millie, you were woken up for your watch. Would you like to wander around the outside of the building or stay inside and peek out the windows?
I think she'll walk around the outside.
Sounds good. Go ahead and roll a perception check for me. And I'm not cheating, I swear.
Yeah, okay. Oh, Millie.
So with your, in your defense, it is dark.
I'm very small.
That's true. Although height doesn't necessarily change how well you see things. So you've got a +1. Oh, that's your persuasion. What is your perception? Perception is a +2. Yeah. So that will give you a total of 7. So as you wander around, the night is sitting heavy around you, and you're having a hard time seeing anything of any consequence. Now, my question that I've forgotten is are halflings, or do halflings have dark vision?
I do, as a dwarf.
Yeah, I know dwarves do, but I've forgotten.
Oh, okay.
Halflings, racial traits, lucky, brave. Oh, also, and this is an important detail because I will forget this. If for any reason Millie rolls a 1, re-roll the dice. You are lucky.
Oh, yeah.
You're also naturally stealthy. Which means you can attempt to hide even if you are observed, only lightly obscured by things like another person. You can literally hide behind another person.
Love it.
So that's fun. You can move through space. And you can move through the same space as another creature. That's awesome. And you have advantage on saving throws against being frightened. However, you do not have dark vision, so you'll need to use a torch to be able to see as you're moving along. You may also have the light spell, which is nice.
Bonus cantrip.
Light. You do in fact have the light spell. So we'll pop over this just real quick because it might be relevant. If you'll notice, you'll have a list of cantrips: light, sacred flame, toll the dead, and word of radiance. Those do not have spell slots. That's because you can cast these spells as many times in a day as you'd like. They still take an action to be able to cast them, but you can just basically spam them as much as you want.
Okay.
However, if we scroll down a little bit, you'll notice that next to the word level 1, there are 4 little squares next to slots. You can think of those kind of like your mana for your spells. The list below, Burning Hands, Cure Wounds, Fairy Fire, Guiding Bolt, and Healing Word, are your list of spells that you can pick, and so you can use one of those spell slots to cast any of those spells. Once you run out of spell slots, you can no longer cast. However, you also have second level spell slots because you're 3rd level because 1st level characters are boring. So you'll notice that some of them are duplicated. So Burning Hands, Cure Wounds, Guiding Bolt, and Healing Word are all first level spells, but they're on your list for second level spells because you can put a higher level spell slot in your first level spells to make them more powerful. So if you want a Burning Hands a little bit harder, you just use a second level spell slot and you do more damage.
Okay, but you can pick can you pick I want to cast at either level 1 or level 2?
Exactly.
Okay.
Now you can't cast a second level spell using 2 first level slots. As fun as that would be,
Okay.
Magic doesn't work that way. But all of this is a very complicated way of saying that you can touch an object to cast light on it, and it produces light as if it were a torch. So that could be a stone, that could be your hat, it could be your weapon. It's a classic to just have your weapon sort of glowing, or even your shield, so you have a giant, glowy shield. But you do have a source of light, and your watch goes off uneventfully. You return to the cabin to wake up Eldon, who, while groggy, will get up to do his watch. And let's see. About an hour later, so it's still a couple hours before dawn. The two of you feel a gentle shake, and Eldon leans in and whispers, "Hey, I think there's someone outside. I thought I saw someone."
Just one someone?
Yeah, they were behind a tree. I only saw them for a second, and then they slipped away. But I feel like we're being watched.
Should we go check it out, Baron?
I think we should investigate.
Okay.
Chase the model.
So how would you guys like to approach where Eldon said he saw the person?
Wise Millie would like to kind of peek her head out the door first, make sure the coast is clear before they go waltzing straight up to the tree.
Yeah, use your sneakiness to investigate.
You want to try to stealth your way up?
Sure.
Sounds good. So go ahead and roll that d20. If you go to your skills, you'll notice that stealth has both an A and a D on it. That means that you have both advantage from your boots and disadvantage from your armor affecting this. Advantage means you'll roll twice and take the higher of the two. Disadvantage means you roll twice and take the lower of the two. Because you have both, they cancel each other out. So just roll 1d20 and add 3 to it.
Okay.
Ooh. So you managed to do a pretty good sneak. So I'm going to do something real quick. Please hold.
No problem.
Technology be my friend. Haha. Excellent. Now, do you guys see? Yes. So you have exited your cute little cabin, and you are headed towards the trees. Just above my head, so over here, is where he said that he thought he saw the archer. Or the person, I guess, for lack of a better term. So go ahead, and you're being quite stealthy. So go ahead and let's do an investigation roll as you start getting closer.
Okay.
So it is a different skill. Your investigation, unfortunately, is only a is +0, but that's okay. So as you are sort of rooting your way through the underbrush, you basically run into an archer. You can't really see him here. Let's just do this. Boop. There he is. You have found yourself now face to face with this archer. You sort of bump into him. He 100% didn't see you, but the two of you sort of bounce off each other and take a step back. For a moment, he'll stare at you with wide eyes, not really sure what to do next. What would you like to do?
Let's see. We're right in front of each other, huh?
Yep. You could reach out and touch him if you wanted.
I'll try to step back a little, hold up my shield, and say, "What do you want?"
Okay. Oh gosh, and you fell to your death. What a real... So you step back, readying your shield, demanding to know what you want. He says, I was just going for a walk out here, doing some." He'll look down at his bow, that's just clearly in his hand, and will say, just doing some hunting. Yeah, hunting. So go ahead, and you're going to roll insight for me. So you're going to have a +4 to this. Ooh, that's a good roll. So a couple of things that you're reading for this. So insight is your kind of ability to read people. Also, what source of light are you using to see this nice chap?
Oh, because it's still dark.
Yes.
Could I have previously cast light on my shield?
It would be
that
easier
wouldn't
to
be
have
recent.
cast it on something you can conceal, so you can kind of hide it when you're moving, and then reveal it to see. So
What
like,
all I have on me?
you could even just put a stone and pick up a stone, cast light on it, and then put it in your
That's
pocket.
perfect. Very Gandalf.
Yeah. So you have your light stone out that you can really see his face. Excuse me. So you can tell a couple of things. Firstly, he's absolutely not hunting. It was a bad lie, and he came up with it poorly. But more than that, you notice that he looks over your shoulder. He looks 2 places. One just to your right, kind of towards the cabin, but kind of past it, and then the other one over your left shoulder towards the cabin, right shoulder over something else at a great distance. And he'll also he definitely says that last hunting a little bit louder than he ought to, clearly trying to get someone's attention.
Seems to me you're out here trying to hunt me and my team. Who else is here with you?
No one. It's just me. I'm here by myself. The name's Phil. Good to meet you.
Phil. I don't think I like the what is that phrase? I don't think I like the cut of your jib, Phil. Why don't you come in the cabin and meet my friends?
I just remembered I left the kettle on, so I should probably get back to it. So I'm gonna go.
Can I try to call out for my friends to come over?
Absolutely. Let's see. When you call out to your friends, go ahead and so the 2 of you can come out of the cabin. I'll leave that closed for now. As he begins backing up, oh gosh, I'm at a funny angle here. As he begins backing up, you hear a voice from behind you, and the two, and Eldon and Baron, as they're exiting, can see this very easily. Is sort of stepping out from the brush. Let's see where I can see this. There he is. Is another pair of gentlemen. As the guy with the big poleaxe steps forward to say, now, there's no reason to get tetchy. What seems to be the trouble here?
Well, your friend Phil was trying to scout us out and hunt us down. What's your deal?
Now, is this true, Phil? Are you scouting for me now? Which the Phil will sort of look confused for a sec, like he's like, I don't get what's happening right now with his furrowed brow, which seems to only amuse this new person more. I think there seems to be a slight misunderstanding. I wanted to wait until morning to do this, but, well, since we're starting now, I want to make this simple. You're going to want to take all your valuables and just throw them on the ground here in front of you. And I'm going to take them, and then we're going to leave.
I'm gonna finish my beer and yell as loud as I can, and draw my sword.
Sounds good. That sounds
Meanwhile,
like
Millie's like
combat.
trying to gesture at him, like cool it, but it's too late.
Go ahead and both of you are going to roll initiative.
Okay.
So initiative should be just at the top of your sheet. So Baron, you've got a +1, and Millie, you've got a +3. So you're going to roll a d20 and then add that number to it.
Alrighty.
Oh, man, I have to shake the whole world.
Let's see what I'm gonna do here.
Mackenzie looks like. Alrighty, Mackenzie, you are first. As he throws down his beer and hefts his great sword, you see that combat is about to break out. So you are the first to react. What would you like to do?
Let's see.
Oh, actually, let me go ahead and do one quick specification.
Sure.
Combat is done in a series of rounds. Each round is 6 seconds and is thought to have happened nearly simultaneously. So things are, while it's going to take us a while to go through it, the idea is that each round is relatively quick. In your round, you'll have one of 3 actions that that you can take. Well, you can take each of these 3 actions. There's a movement action that allows you to move a number of feet equal to your walking speed. So Millie has a 25, and then I think actually both of you have a 25. Yeah, both of you are a little bit slower because you're a little small, or stubby in the case of the dwarf. So you can move 5 squares in a turn. In addition, you have a combat action. Your combat action can be used to cast spells, swing swords, if you'd like to dash, and a variety of other things as well. There's also a thing called a bonus action that the barbarian will use to rage and that the cleric will use for a handful of spells. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Excellent. So if you're looking at your spell list, Mackenzie, you'll notice that under time, there's 1A and 1BA. The BA is bonus action, the A is action. So you can move, cast a spell, and if you use a bonus action for your first or second level spell, you can use your normal combat action for your cantrip, but you can't cast 2 first or second levels in the same turn. So, a lot of information all at once. What do you want to do?
I think I want to maybe get like closer to my buddies.
Okay. So you are right here. You are right now 10 feet away from Eldon. So
Okay.
if you'd like, that'd be very easy. You can use some of your movement. Now you've got a couple options that might be sort of helpful right now. The first of which that could be very fun is you have a spell called Burning Hands. Burning Hands is a cone of fire that comes bursting out of you in a 15-foot cone. So if you move yourself essentially right in front of Baron there, you can do a spray of fire into this newcomer and his bodyguard friend. Do you want to give that a try?
Yeah, that sounds perfect.
Let's do it. So you running over to your friend, hop in front, put your thumbs together, splay your fingers out, and fire bursts out. Now, are you using a first level spell slot or a second level spell slot for this spell?
Let's see.
You've got 4 first level and 2 second.
Let's see, 3d6 versus 4. Let's do 3 or level 1.
Alrighty. So, because this is a cone of fire, you don't really have to roll to hit because it's really hard to miss with a cone.
Gotcha.
15-foot cone. Now, what's going to happen is they're going to try and jump out of the way. First, the bodyguard. Excuse me. And second, the guy, the leader himself. Now, if you notice up at the top of your spells, you have a thing called a spell save DC. Up at the very top, it says modifier +2, spell attack +4, and then save DC 12. Do you see that?
Yes.
So the number that I need to beat with my dexterity saving throw is that 12. And you can see that if you look, so yeah, it says time, range, hit /DC. It says dex 12. So I'm rolling a dex save and need to beat a 12.
Okay.
Now the spell says that as you hold your hands together, thumbs touching and fingers splayed, a thin sheet of flame comes shooting forth from your outstretched finger. Each creature in a 15-foot cone must make a dexterity saving throw or takes 3d6 of fire damage on a failed save. So the commander man failed, or half as much damage on a successful one. So you're still going to hurt him. It's just one of the guys thinks to hit the deck as opposed to take the whole brunt in his mouth.
Gotcha.
So if you click the D6 3 times, you can put 3 on your little line there. So go ahead and roll 3d6 for me to see how much damage your fire does. Ooh, sizable. So the Bandit Leader, because let's not mince words, he's a Bandit Leader, is going to take the full brunt. However, his bodyguard is going to dodge out of the way and only take 5 damage.
Poor bodyguard.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Guard very
let's be
well.
honest, he's guarding a thing. He's guarding a not great man, so he knew what I did when he signed up for this game. So you've now used your movement action, your standard action, and you don't have any cantrips that are bonus actions, so your turn has concluded.
All right.
Yeah, because you've used your full movement. So next is the enemy's turn. So they're gonna not like the fact that you just tried to fill them with fire. They also don't like that there are these newcomers. So firstly, the archers, and yes, there are 2 of them. One of them is going to take a shot off at Eldon because he doesn't like him. Eldon has a rubbish armor class because he is a castery types. So he will take an arrow to the shoulder, which he will cry out that he did not like or sign up for. However, there was a second archer that you did not see. Now, because the archer managed to remain hidden, he will have advantage on his attack, which means he'll roll twice and take the higher of the 2. However, your AC is enormous. So even without having to think about it, your shield is just held up by your side. An arrow twangs off the large chunk of metal as you look to your right and see that there is another archer that has been hidden in the trees the whole time.
What a stinker.
However, he missed. In addition, though, these guys are going to take a step forward and try to fill you with all of the stabs. The first bandit with the shield swings in with his sword and manages to, while you're distracted, he'll actually catch you right in the meat of your thigh, doing a whopping 6 points of damage to you. Go ahead and just...
Let's see. Better make sure I pay attention to my hit points here.
So you're down to 15 hit points. You do have some healing, though, so you should be fine. However, the other guy, as he steps forward with his poleaxe, is actually going to swing twice, as he has gotten good enough that he can swing very well. However, being that he was just cooked a whole lot, he's still trying to bat the flames out on his face, and he hasn't really committed to the whole, filling you with chopping death. Now, you have an NPC that's with you, and for the most part, he'll sort of do his own thing, but I will allow you to take a little bit of control over him. Do you want him to focus his fire on the commander or the sort of the helper people?
What do you think?
The commander and the followers will leave.
Okay.
And then did you want him to do the guaranteed hit? So magic missile will guarantee hit, but it does significantly less damage. Or do you want him to do more damage, but possibly miss?
I'm going to know what Baron would say. Go for the big guns.
Yeah, I would go for the big guns.
All right. And you can even shout that at him and be like, take out the commander. Use the big guns. He will do his shot and is startled and still very asleep as his chromatic orb flies wide. However, he decides that staying outside is a terrible plan and that it will end in his death. So he's going to step back into the house.
What kind of team
out
player?
of line of sight. He's going to step
right.
back.
Yeah, this is where the beds are.
Yeah,
And the beer.
Can't get shot at as much, but then you're cornered.
So he is shot and missed like a chump. He has run away like a coward, which means now everyone's favorite, the dwarf, is up. So I'm assuming you want to fly into a rage.
Perhaps. What is Millie like?
Say again?
Looking at me, because she's kind of my bigger sister, right? Like I'm the big brawny dumb one. And my natural state is to go into the rage, but she has the power over me to calm me down if needed.
Well, we're 2 against what? 4? I'd say rage on him.
Okay. Take
like
the
it.
leader's head. Show it to the others as a trophy.
So you have 2 options for raging. So since you are a berserker, you can go into your normal rage. Now, a normal rage is pretty awesome. It's a bonus action to do. You can do it 3 times per day. It increases the damage that you do by 2, gives you advantage on all strength saves and strength skill checks. And in addition, my favorite part, you take half damage from non-magical bludgeoning. Oh, no, wait, I'm sorry. You take half damage from bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing attacks. So any weapon that a person would swing, shoot, or try to stab you with, you just take half damage because you don't care. Now, because you're a berserker, you can fly into a frenzy.
Ooh.
There's a downside and an upside to it. The downside is after you're done with your rage, you gain a level of fatigue, level of exhaustion, which means you're bad at skill checks. You're just so darn tired. But the good part is you get an additional attack with your big old 2-hander. That you can use your bonus action to swing with your main weapon again. So did you want to go full on frenzy or just regular rage?
I'm still pretty groggy, so I'm gonna go with normal rage for now.
I think it's a good call.
Sounds good. So you fly into a rage, frothing at the mouth. It's funny too that yours was the inciting incident of the yell, "Throw beer down," and then as soon as you throw the beer down, everything happens, and then you're like, "Oh shoot, I should kill people now." Yes, big sin. And then I'm assuming you're running forward to boot the guy with the axe on the snoot.
Yeah.
Excellent. So you step yourself forward, bringing your big old weapon to bear, and I've screwed
the
up.
Leader or the sidekick or the bodyguard.
Oh, there it is. I've assumed you were going after the leader.
Yeah, the leader man.
Oh, okay.
Sounds good. So now you're going to roll an attack. So if you go to your actions, you have your greatsword. It has a +6 to hit. So go ahead and roll that d20 and add 6 to it.
Okay.
And hopefully you get good rolls.
I'm sorry, what am I rolling?
The 20-sided dice, the red one.
Okay. Nope.
So you've got a +6 to that.
Sure.
that you're adding. So that means that you're getting a 15. That's actually enough. This bandit captain, while he does have studded leather and is quite dexterous, he'll try to twist out of the shot. You say nope. Twist your blade with it, and you catch him right in the chest. So your weapon does 2d6 points of damage +4 normally, but because you're raging, it's 2d6 +6.
Oh, all right. So I'm gonna get rid of that guy. 2d6. Roll it. 3 and 1. 10.
Not the best numbers, but you're still adding 6 to that, so it's 10 points of damage into this guy's mouth. And he cries out in pain as you sink your sizable sword deep into his body, which means it is now back to Millie's turn. Millie, you are up. You're in melee combat with a couple of guys. You've got loads of spells at your disposal. What would you like to do?
Let's see. I should have been looking at these beforehand.
That's all right. Did you want to use an offensive spell or a spell to help one of your friends?
I think I should. Well, I'm very disappointed in our wizard guy, but I will. Let's see.
So if you wanted to, so you can heal and cast an attack spell in the same turn if you'd like.
Okay.
Yeah, you do have that gaping wound in your thigh.
Yeah.
That's true.
So your healing word is a bonus action spell, and it'll heal a d4 plus 2 points of damage. And then Toll the Dead uses a single action. Oh, you also have 2 people next to you. Well, you also have your friend next to you, but that might be okay. So you also have Word of Radiance. So Toll the Dead, you make someone sort of realize their mortality in only the most delightful magic kind of way. They'll make a wisdom saving throw, and on a fail, they'll take a d8 points of damage or a d12 points of damage if they've taken damage, which this guy has.
Okay.
Or Word of Radiance, you have a burst of radiant energy, and anyone within 5 feet of you must make a Constitution save or take a d6 points of damage. So, again, do you want to do more damage to a single target or less damage but to more targets?
I feel like maybe I want to focus on one because these people don't seem super like
Committed.
committed to this guy. So
Yeah.
maybe
There's some bandits.
yeah.
They do some hard damage. Now the other option is you forego healing yourself for this turn because you've got a high AC and a lot of hit points, and you go with a slightly stronger spell, something like Scorching Ray or Guiding Bolt, or because again you're a cleric of light, you have one of my personal favorites, Flaming Sphere, where you have a ball of fire that materializes and rolls around the battlefield, bouncing into people.
Ooh.
Do I control that bounce?
Absolutely do.
Okay.
You are kind of on a fire kick. You did shoot a cone of fire at them.
I did. Let's do that. That's fun.
Awesome. I'll be honest, I've always been a huge fan of this one. So Flaming Sphere is a second level spell, so we'll use one of your second level slots, but that's okay. A 5-foot diameter sphere of fire appears in an unoccupied space of your choice within range. It's a range of 60 feet. Let's see. Any creature that ends its turn within 5 feet of the sphere must make a dexterity saving throw. The creature takes 2d6 fire on a failed save and half as much on a successful one. So that's cool and all, because so basically you can kind of decide where people are, and they'll have to kind of run away from your burning ball of fire that you drive around the battlefield. But that's not where it ends. As a bonus action, you can move the sphere 30 feet. If you ram the sphere into a creature, that creature must make the saving throw against the sphere, and the sphere stops moving. So essentially, you can just run it into people, and they try to jump out of the way. So I happened to have grabbed, and I don't remember where I put it, a little burning sphere model.
Fireball.
Goodness, I had it, and it was awesome and hilarious, and damn my eyes if I can remember where it went. I went over to grab it specifically. Shoot. Well, we're going to have to just fudge it, and you'll have blue fire, which will be exciting. So go ahead and roll for me 2d6. There it is. Your ball of fire, very big, materializes, and did you want to roll it into the boss man?
Yes.
Sounds good. Roll 2d6 for me, and I'll roll his dexterity saving throw to hopefully not get burned alive. Well, I mean, hopefully for you, but rolled. This guy is just not having a great time with this whole fire thing.
You don't wake me up in the middle of the night.
Barely, yeah.
Will burn you.
Yeah.
So he will take 7 points of damage. And he cries out again in pain with the whole, being caught on fire.
Mm-hmm.
So that was that. You still have your movement and bonus action. You can't cast your healing spell with your bonus action, unfortunately, and if you move away from these guys, they will try to hit you. Did you want to try and move away or stay shoulder to shoulder with your fighting partner?
I'll stay with him.
Together we are strong.
Just, shield ready.
Yeah.
Yes.
Plus, your more powerful healing spell is a touch spell, so you can just reach over and bap him if he takes too much damage. Not that he's going to take a lot of damage. He's raging, so that makes it less. Speaking of which, the archers are going to, since one of them has given up its location, he's going to move a little and try to take a shot off at the barbarian. Both the archers are going to shoot at the barbarian. So your armor class is only 14 because you are bare-chested. However, you do use your constitution to protect you from incoming attacks. So yay for that. They've only got a +3 to hit. So the 10 will miss. However, the 13 will miss. However, the 19 will hit. They don't do a lot of damage, truthfully. So normally you would take 5 points of damage. However, because you're raging, you only take half of that. We round down in D&D, so you will take 2 points of damage, leaving you with, if I remember correctly, a whole bunch. Yeah, you still have, what is that? 33 points of health. So you'll be fine. However, the bandit captain is going to try and lay into you with his big old stick, and he will be much more successful with his hits. And he hits just a little harder, except for he doesn't. That's a so he's got, let's see.
The hole in his face is working, Kenzie.
Yes. Real crispy.
Oh, and he needs to he needs to move after this. Oh, that'll be fun for him. So let's see. He's got a +2 to his damage, a +3 to his damage. My goodness. So it'll be 10. So you'll take 5 whole damage. I always forget that barbarians just do not take damage, which is awesome, truthfully. All right. So you get booped by him, and that means that he's going to try and move. Now, because he is moving here, he is no longer in melee combat with our cleric, which means you will get to Millie. You will get to make an opportunity attack. You've got 2 options for this. One, you can just whack him with your mace, because who doesn't like hitting people with maces? That's always fun. The other option is, if you'd like, you could try to grab a hold of him so that he can't run away, and he has to be burned by your flaming sphere. Did you want to go
love
that?
that.
Alrighty.
Burn him more.
So you're like, no, you are going to play in the sphere. So you need to make an athletics check, which you have a +1 to, opposed by his athletics check, or he's going to do acrobatics to try and get away from you. Oh no, he has a +4 for athletics. Why not? So the number to beat, wow.
Oh, Millie.
So you reach out and grab a hold of him, but it turns out this guy is pretty strong and pretty adamant about not being on fire anymore. And so he'll rip his lapel a little bit to be able to move away, and he steps to the other side of the dwarf to be able to fight you there.
I picture Millie just holding on his pant leg as he keeps moving.
Like, no, come back.
Dragging him.
However, the guy that his bodyguard, who's not doing a great job at bodyguarding, is going to decide that he is going to try and whack you because you're hurting his buddy. However, again, your shield is just more than they're ready for. And he slams his weapon ineffectually against your shield. He then also will go ahead and say, screw this giant ball of fire, and then we'll step there. Because he is not leaving anyone's area of like the part that you're attacking, you won't get any opportunity attacks against him. It was only because the commander left the area.
Gotcha.
Okay.
So now your Eldon from the building will say, you can hear him yell from inside the building, "I'm not a coward!" And then from the building, 3 bolts of flame come flying at the commander. 2 of them will swing wide, and the other 2 will slam into his torso region. Wow, doing a sizable chunk of damage. 24. Now, this guy is now what I'll refer to as bloodied. It's a generic term used to say that he's taken more than half of his hit points in damage. So essentially this means he is halfway dead, or more than halfway dead in this particular case.
Oh my god.
So he is now very hurt, and is thinking that maybe this whole staying and fighting thing wasn't the best idea, especially as Eldon again retreats deeper into the building, not wanting to be part of the fight. Micah, you're up. What is Baron doing? I'm assuming he's going to continue with the whacking?
I am going to continue whacking.
Good.
I'm kind of getting pissed off at his bodyguards now and a little distracted due to my alcohol intake.
That will happen.
I'm going to try to attack the archer that shot me because now I have an arrow sticking out of me.
Okay. There are 2 archers. Both of them are kind of a ways away. Now you have a couple options. You could, if you wanted, run after one of them. It would take both of your actions to get to them because they're kind of a ways away. And that would also provoke an opportunity attack from the commander guy. The other option is you do have a javelin or a couple javelins on your back. You could basically stab your big old sword into the ground, pull a javelin out and toss it at one of the archers, and then continue fighting the guy in front of you. Or you could run over and try to take one of these guys out that is shooting at you. What would you like to do?
I'm going to try and do the cool guy javelin throw.
I like it. So javelins, because they are a thrown weapon, you can still use your strength on them. So go ahead and roll a d20, and you're going to add 6 to it.
All right.
Meanwhile, Millie's yelling at Eldon that he is a coward because he didn't come outside.
But I'm shooting the guys!
Well, get your booty out here!
So despite your abysmal rolls, these guys' armor is rubbish and your strength is quite high. So you got yourself a 13. Their armor class is only 12. So your javelin will stick into this guy's chest. Go ahead. Do you want to throw it at the one that Millie was talking to, the one that's hiding over here, or the one that was hidden away over there?
I want to do the one that shot me, but I don't know which one that is.
I think that was the one that was hiding over in the corner.
I think it's the surprise.
Okay, yeah, surprise man.
So go ahead and roll a d6 plus. Oh goodness, I think you have a +6 to damage. Yeah, you've got plus 4 on your strength modifier, plus an additional 2 for raging. So you're gonna roll a d6 plus 6. If you roll high enough, this guy will not survive this. Ooh, a single hit point remaining. As you hurl your javelin, and it pierces through one of his lungs, and actually he'll sort of fall back onto this thing, screaming in pain, holding his chest. He's not having a great day, I'll be honest. And you think that he isn't long for staying in here. In fact, if you'd like to give me an intimidate, you might be able to convince him that staying is not what he wants to do.
Oh yes, I'd love to intimidate him.
Yeah, go ahead and roll me a d20, and you're going to add your intimidate modifier to it. Intimidation skill.
Damn, Baron, that was a good throw.
Intimidation +2. All right, roll.
All right.
So basically you like a cool guy are like, I got shot. Turn, toss javelin, nearly kill the man, and just mean mug him for a sec, and then look away, knowing that that if you look back at him, he will have to die. And he'll take this opportunity to say, you know what, I don't need this. And he will get ready to run away. Meanwhile, that was you. Mackenzie, Millie is up. What would you like to do?
Let's see. We're kind of sandwiched by these guys right now.
You are a little sandwiched. Now, you do have your flaming sphere, so if you'd like, you could roll that into someone. You also have your mace, which you could swing, or you have a handful of other spells at your disposal, which you can use, including one of my another very fun one and a very powerful spell, for that matter, Guiding Bolt. Guiding Bolt, you fire a bolt of energy at someone. If they get hit, not only do they take a good chunk of damage, but they also are haloed in light, which will make it easier for someone else to hit them later. The other option is you can cure yourself or your barbarian if you're feeling like one of the two of you are wounded. Or you can actually have the same spell the wizard just cast, Scorching Ray, which is 3 bolts of fire, each of which does 2d6 points of damage. So you got a bunch of different options.
You could light the house on fire so the wizard has to help.
That is also an option.
I love that, but I got this big sphere I might as well use since it's here.
Yeah.
So the cool thing is you can use your bonus action to drive the sphere around, and then your standard action to just cast whatever spell you want.
Okay.
You can do both.
I love that idea of setting the house on fire, but I don't know if Millie would do that.
I don't. Yeah.
So here's not that I'm suggesting you burn the house down, but if you park the sphere here, it will hit this guy and happen to be close to the building. Oops.
Oh.
I think Millie's good heart doesn't burn the house down so that other travelers can use it.
Yeah, it was a nice house to have available.
But I do love that idea.
No,
So
okay.
Do you
I'll
want to roll the sphere into
Alright,
the
just a blood
bodyguard
rage.
that's attacking
blood
you,
rage.
or the commander that's on the other side of Baron?
I will roll the sphere to the commander.
Sounds good. Boop. And he's going to try and jump out of the way of that.
It's like the
However,
beginning.
if his track record remains, which it does, he absolutely cannot. So go ahead and roll 2d6 for me to determine how much damage he'll take. Oof. Ooh. That's almost max damage there. So he is looking quite burned, very crispy, you'd say. Now you still have your normal action, so you can still cast another spell if you'd like.
Okay, let me think here. That's a second level, the guiding bolt, right? Or have it
No,
first?
Guiding Bolt is a first level, but you can cast it as a second level if you want to do even more damage.
I think I'll just do it as a first level at the commander guy.
Sounds good. So you're going to roll a d20 and add 4 to your to hit as you try to zap this guy with your beam.
9 plus 4, 13.
13, so that is unfortunately not quite enough to hit him. So your shot will fling wide, flying over his shoulder as he does a quick roll. And if you move at this point, you will be hit by the guy. So unless you would like to move away, your turn is done, which means the commander has to again continue moving away from the flaming sphere. She's really not liking that sphere at all right now. He's going to try to continue attacking in again with his double strike as he swings one way, flips his axe around, and hits the other way. He actually manages to not only hit you quite soundly with the first strike, he flips it around for a second one, doing a whole bunch of damage. Well, he does an amount of damage to you. Good grief. So it normally would be 15, but because of your rage, that means you will only take 7 points of damage. My goodness. So you're down to 21 of 35, so you're taking some damage, but you're certainly not dead.
Can I ask you where you're getting 15 from?
So he has a +3 to each of his swings. He got a crit for one of them, which is that 20, which means he'll roll 2 dice, but you don't double the number of, what you call them, the bonus to it. So if, for instance, you were to crit with, say, your Guiding Bolt, it doubles all the dice. So instead of doing 4d6 of damage, you would do 8d6 of damage. So critting with those big spells is nice.
So you were adding 2 to each of those d10.
Adding 3 to each of them.
3, yeah.
Yep. And that's because he has a strength modifier of +3.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Of course. And this is a learning experience. So definitely anytime I'm doing something that you're curious about, feel free to ask. Awesome. All right, so the one archer that you hurt and then scared, he's going to just run away because he says to himself, "This isn't worth it," and away he goes. And then the next archer, does he want? Actually, let's do this. As he brings his bow up to fire again, Eldon's going to peek his head out and fire his magic missile at this guy. The 3 darts slam into the guy with unerring accuracy, doing only 10 points of damage to this guy. At this point, he will whip his bow around and try to shoot at Eldon. But as he does so, his bowstring will break, at which point he decides, you know what, this isn't worth it, and he will also leave.
You were going,
No. And then the bodyguard is going to try and whack the dwarf. The halfling. He will actually hit. He's got a +3 to hit. You've got an 18 AC. Ooh. He hits your AC, which means he'll do a whopping. Wait for it. Oh wow, that's actually pretty good. He's doing better than the commander at this point. He'll do a whopping 6 points of damage to you. 6. So that will bring you down to 9 hit points of 21.
All right.
But this is them done with their turn, which means it is Micah. It is your turn. What is Baron doing?
I am mad at Commander now because he hit me. And let's see. What was Baron doing?
Stored him some questions.
Yeah, I'm pretty messed up now.
Oh, you're fine. You're still at 21 of 35 hit points.
Yeah, but I don't like it.
You know what? That's fair. That's fair.
I wanna kill this commander really bad.
Alrighty, well,
he's swing the good stuff, and he's been taking it, and now it's time to end him.
Roll the hit. You've got a +6 because you're a big burly chap with magic hands.
All right.
I said the sentence and then immediately regretted it. So that's a 16, and that will hit. His AC is only 15. So you're rolling 2d6 plus 6.
Good.
And there is a possibility that this shot could kill him.
pretty good.
15.
Whew, that is actually more than you needed to kill this guy. So yeah, you as he pivots around, you drop low, gripping the sword at your hip, and just do quick twist. You catch onto his hip, driving the blade deep into him, and he falls dead at your feet. At which point, the bodyguard will decide, you know what, it's my bad, and he'll turn and attempt to run away. Will Millie let him run, or will she strike him down?
Millie. We didn't really talk to anybody. Like, we don't know what's up. They just didn't.
From a quick assessment, your guess is these are just your basic highwaymen. They were here to try and rob you of any valuables. They were relatively cordial. I mean, they gave you the chance to surrender your stuff and then leave.
I suppose that's true.
It's more than I would have done.
Millie and her pure heart will just give him a good glare as he runs
Give him a
off.
good clean death.
You know what? I'll say that earns you some inspiration.
Oh, thank you.
Your benevolence towards him, your deity smiles down upon you. And with that, I cannot find how to give inspiration on. Here it is. So inspiration you can use at any time to re-roll one of your d20 rolls if you decide that it is rubbish and you want to make it not rubbish.
Gotcha.
So yeah, so congratulations. You have defeated all of the bandits. They've you are at this point relatively sleepy, so I would imagine that you decide to head back into the house and pass back out.
Yeah, and our cowardly wizard friend can keep watch.
I like it. So each of you will get the benefit of a long rest. In a given day, you can either take a couple of short rests. They're an hour long, or a long rest, which is 8 hours long. Essentially, you can sleep. However, you can only take one long rest per 24 hours. A long rest will get you back all of your hit points, as well as any of your hit die that you've used to heal during short rests. You didn't take any short rests, so you don't have to worry about that. In addition, you will get your spell slots back and your number of rages per day back.
Raw.
So you're full of rage. So let me go ahead and do a quick something. Boop. Hey, it's just me again. So now, the group of you are able to continue on your journey after having a sleep. You head up through the mountains. I always forget the name of this mire. You've got a mire to your left, to the east, as you head south. It is a large sort of expanse of swampy lands filled with trolls and bandits. To your right, there is a sizable forest, and then beyond that, the ocean lays farther away. As you head yourself deeper into the mountains, you eventually find... Oh goodness, sorry, I'm adjusting camera location. Eldon is in the house. Howard sits in the house. You find yourself eventually... My map. Actually, this is a pretty good example. Over my shoulder here, you see a castle. It is large. It is mist has descended down upon it, and it has seen many years of wear, tear, and damage. As you approach...
So sorry for all the dog background noise.
Oh, no, you're fine. You find yourself at the base of the great keep. The stone walls rising up in front of you, the portcullis down and rusty. And were you attempting to seize this castle in its prime, you think to yourself, my goodness, this would have been very difficult to do. However, years of damage and decay have made it so that entry is not as difficult as maybe it could have been. The walls, of course, being very empty and open. So yeah.
I was going to punch the gate, but we don't need to.
Nope. You can definitely head around.
Okay.
So let's go ahead and get perception checks from you guys to see what you see.
What am I rolling?
You're looking for a D20, and then you're going
Okay.
to add your perception modifier to it. Which
So I got 19.
Ooh. I got 18 plus
plus 3.
Ooh.
21.
So you see a couple of different things. Firstly, I'm going to go ahead and move around a little bit. Firstly, you see that this area is not 100% abandoned. There are undead that slowly roam the area and sit up atop the towers. However, they seem to not be terribly interested in concentrating on the goings-on. You also notice two other things. For instance, firstly, there is what looks like an ancient armory that sits forgotten and broken there. And then to this side, there seems to be some sort of pile of treasure. However, as you approach a little closer, you discover that it has a friend. An undead sits hunched over next to it. Its long tendrils lolling off its back, and its thin fingers slowly caressing the pile of coins.
Okay.
I like coins.
At this point, you have not tipped off anyone to your existence. However, you think that if you make a particularly large amount of noise, you will. You could either stealth if you'd like, or go in guns, as they say, blazing.
All right, what do you think,
I think we're
y'all?
gonna let Millie's secret or sneakiness shine.
I bet we could get some good armor out of the armory if I can go. If I can carry all
Before
that.
we rage, we should acquire better items.
Yeah. You're so right. You're so level-headed this early in the morning.
Yes.
All right,
Yep.
I'm going to try to at least just go sneak to the armory and check it out, see if there's anything worthwhile, and if not, we'll just go back to the.
Sounds good. So go ahead and roll me a stealth as you attempt to sneak your way in.
Oh boy. That's a 10.
So as it would happen, most undead are relatively unobservant, and they continue to shuffle around the keep, not paying any attention to you.
I do a silent victory dance.
Sounds good. So you manage to sneak yourself into the armory, and you are faced with a pile of rubble. Rusted weapons, broken tools of war lay long forgotten and long since rotten, with the exception of a couple of things. A quiver having completely rotted out, the leather having just withered away to nothing, used to still sort of holds together 5 arrows. The arrows are unique in that each of their fletching, the wood, and the sort of bulbous tips are painted a different color. Those colors are red, green, blue, gray, and white. In addition, leaned up against the corner is a javelin, the head of which looks like a jagged lightning bolt. And then finally, amongst a row of rusted blades, there sits a single greatsword that is pristine and shiny, having clearly taken no damage.
All right, I would like to take those items.
That's good. So you have the javelin, the 5 arrows, which you realize that they're at that kind of odd size that you could probably fit them into your light crossbow and fire them that way.
Great.
And then the javelin. So did you want to try and sneak back to the rest of the group, or did you want to try and head around and get the drop on whatever creepy crawly is in the tower?
I think that my friend could benefit from this javelin at least, and we might have a better chance. They're not very sneaky though.
No, but I can throw that javelin like real good. So
I don't know if I should approach by myself.
that zombie man sitting over that loot pile.
You did also find a greatsword that seems to be magical in some way.
Ooh.
So you could your barbarian friend is currently toting a mundane greatsword.
I can swing that greatsword real good.
I mean, I suppose. I guess I'll try to rejoin the group, and then we'll all approach the treasure together if we can.
Alrighty, give me another stealth. You attempt to sneak your way away.
Let's do this, Millie, I believe.
Sneak.
Oh!
Now, you do have your inspiration. If you'd like, you could use that to re-roll your d20.
Or do we want to see what happens?
Well, if I'm trying to sneak back to you.
Yeah, but who knows what kind of trouble we get into.
But if
also,
you
they are just right here, but they're just off camera.
Okay.
I think
the things that are within your immediate proximity are a skeleton up on the roof there, and then the one down by the entrance, and then possibly the creepy crawly in here.
I think we should just see what happens.
Okay.
Because if we get close enough to each other, I can hand off the good weapons to you.
Sure.
And then,
Right.
yeah, let's just go roll with it.
Gosh. Sorry about that. So as you are making your way back, you're stepping over some rubble, and as you do so, it shifts under your feet, and it falls down, causing some of the rocks to sort of collapse in and make a loud noise, to which the skeletons will respond. And actually, let's go ahead and get everyone to roll initiative.
Sure.
Ooh. You rolled terribly for your stealth, but you are ready for a fight.
I am.
However, Baron, not as much.
Not as much.
I was secretly hoping for a fight.
He was secretly hoping, but just didn't quite get there.
You forgot to tell me.
That's
I wasn't
not
ready.
Millie doesn't like to
I
fight.
put my armor on.
Alrighty, Mackenzie, you are up first. What is Millie doing?
Okay. Let's see. Millie would like to, I guess Millie's ultimate goal right now is to get to her friends and pass off some weapons. So she'll move towards them.
So yeah, you can double move and get back to the rest of the group. You guys are just off camera down.
I mean, we got to run to you anyway.
I suppose I could, let's see.
If they're archers, you should take cover.
But I'm super good with my shield.
That's true.
I suppose I could, yeah.
If you'd like, you could turn back and fire with either one of your spells, or you have a light crossbow. So this one of the spells that you have is a spell called Sacred Flame. If you don't want to use a spell slot for this guy, you pick an area, and a flame-like radiant. Flame-like radiance descends on the creature that you see within range, and it has to try to jump out of the way or take that radiant damage on the chin.
What are you thinking?
I'm thinking I got this stone cunning, so I can figure out how we can collapse a tower.
Ooh, you're gonna try and full on collapse this tower on this creepy crawly?
And distract the other undead so we can get that gold.
Okay. If you collapse the tower, then you won't be able to get the gold out of this one without digging up a lot. However, there are multiple other buildings. I'll give you a quick sort of pan up. This place is pretty extensive. Oh, I can cover the treasure with my head.
So maybe for now so I'm seeing this little guy under that archway.
This guy here?
Yes. Was there another one closer to me over there?
Yes. As you were crawling by, you did notice that there is a second one over there, and then there is the archer up on the tower.
Okay, and who sees me?
Archman.
Just the archer.
The skeletons are the ones that reacted. The creepy crawly over on the side hasn't seemed to really react to you yet.
Okay, so all four of those over there?
Actually, only 3. The 2 skeletons on the ground and only 1 of the skeletons on the tower.
Okay.
Mhm.
I don't want to draw more attention. I guess I'll. What was it called? Sacred Flame.
Do a Sacred Flame.
Yeah, let's do that on the one that's closest to me.
Okay. So you can Sacred Flame and move a little closer. Oh,
Yeah.
You're on a. We're just going to leave you over here because the slope is quite powerful. So we'll put you here. So you run out, look back, and you said the archer or the one with the weapon?
The one on the ground.
Sounds good. So go ahead and roll for me a d8 for the damage, and I'm going to roll my d20 to try and dodge out the way.
I think I'm rolling the right one. Yeah.
That's the one. Let's see. Your spell save DC is 12. I've got a +2, so unfortunately it will be able to dodge out of the way, but you have brought yourself much closer, and you can just for free drop whatever weapons you want on the ground for them to be able to pick up as they run forward.
All right, great. So I'll drop the javelin and the broadsword.
Sounds good. Great sword.
Oh, shoot.
So,
My notes are wrong.
oh, you're fine. So you drop the equipment, and the skeletons at this point will react. The one up on the tower will wander his way up to the edge, drawing his ancient bow back. You hear the string strain under the pressure as he attempts to hit you with his rusty arrow, and his arrow will unfortunately fly true, which will mean you're going to take only 4 damage. He's only got 5 damage.
Okay.
But you are back to full health from last time, so
16.
you're at 16 health. The other skeletons will begin shambling their way towards you. This guy will get into melee combat with you. The other one, however, will not. He is coming up the corner. Okay.
Millie is frightened.
The creepy crawly underneath, though, while it does raise its head and look up at you with dark, piercing eyes, it does not move from its position. It almost seems to sort of stand in front of it as though it were guarding the pile of treasure. But that is their turn, which means, the wizard. What is he going to do? He's gonna start with the good old fashioned classic. He's gonna throw a firebolt at the. In an attempt not to hit you with the bolt of fire, his firebolt will swing wide and slam against the stones.
Darn.
Excuse me. Which means, though, it is our barbarian's turn. What would you like to do?
I kind of want to hit this wizard for being so useless, but
He's trying.
I'm going to reserve my rage for other tasks.
Sounds good.
Let's see.
With a move action, you can get up to your fighting partner to be able to give him a whack.
Yeah, so I guess I'm moving up to Millie and grabbing those weapons on the way.
Alrighty. Basically is in sort of one fluid motion as you run your way forward, you kick the giant blade up, and as soon as it hits your hand, it's so perfectly balanced. It's just it feels so good in your hands. You think to yourself, yes, this is a good blade. Would you like to test it out using the skeleton as your test subject?
Absolutely.
Excellent.
You know what? Skeletons don't like swords.
That's true.
Yeah. Well,
Every skeleton I've ever met has told me that.
All right. So if you want to refresh your character sheet, you'll see in your actions you have a great sword +1. That great sword +1 gives you a +7 to hit. So you're going to roll a d20 and add 7 to it. But my question for you is, are you going to fly into a rage as you run up to this skelly man?
Not yet.
Okay. Sounds good.
I'm still, thinking clearly.
I like it. So go ahead and roll to hit. You've got a +7. That's a 16, which is pretty good considering this guy has essentially what amounts to leather scraps sort of covering his body. So go ahead and then roll me. You're going to do 2d6 plus 5. His blade hits hard.
Very nice.
Ooh.
So yeah, you with one fluid motion, you kick up the blade to your the handle to your hand, and then swinging it up in a long arc, you bring it down onto the collarbone of the skeleton, and then drive it to the ground. The skeleton shatters into many different pieces, and will those pieces will go inert on the ground. Which means, Mackenzie, it is Millie's turn. What would you like to do?
All right. Let me take a quick peek at my spells here and see what we're gonna throw at this other guy. Is the archer too far away?
Sorry, say again.
Is the archer too far away?
No, the archer is about 60 feet away. So if you have any spells that have a range of 60 feet, you can hit him with that. So that would be
more sense because you can get the other guys.
Sacred Flame, Toll the Dead, Fairy Fire, although Fairy Fire doesn't actually hurt things. Flaming Sphere, which might be a little bit excessive for this guy. So yeah, your Sacred Flame and your Toll the Dead are good options for this range.
Okay, let's, just because I haven't used it yet, use Toll of the Dead. See what that is.
Sounds good. So you will discover, much to the skeleton's chagrin, that this is a wisdom save, and its wisdom is much worse than its dexterity. So it's actually got a -1. So it gets a 5 to your difficulty class of 12. It fails a whole lot. Now it hasn't taken any damage yet, so you're only going to deal a d8 points of damage. But next turn, if you use it again, it'll be a d12 because it's been damaged. Go ahead and roll that d8 for me. Oh, and I did leave myself some.
Oops, wrong one.
What?
You
Oh,
need
that's a
D10.
10. Whoopsie. Dang, it was good.
It
I
was
should have
close.
thought, hey, that's a 9.
9 out of 8.
That shouldn't happen.
My goodness.
Well, 3 is better than 0, I guess.
So you blast him with some of that sacred energy, to which he is very displeased. Let's see. I gotta erase all these guys. He's taking 3. You do still have your movement action. If you'd like, you can reposition yourself. You're not engaged in melee combat, so you can run away. You also have your bonus action if you'd like to give yourself a quick heal to try and bring some of those hit points back.
Sure. What is it?
So you're going to be using Healing Word as a bonus action. It's a D4 plus 2 hit points.
D4 plus 2.
Yeah, it's a little pyramid on the far left.
Nice.
Ooh, max healing. So you get 6 of your hit points back, which I think puts you over your, you're back to full health.
I don't get to go to 22, do I?
Sadly, no. You do have a spell, however, called Aid. Aid is fun because your spell boosts your allies' toughness and resolve. Choose up to 3 creatures within range. You can be one of those creatures. And each creature gets 5. Their maximum hit points goes up by 5, and they are then healed 5 hit points.
Oh, nice.
So you can basically over heal your party with that.
Cool.
All right. So, and then did you want to move, or are you happy with your position?
I feel pretty good right here.
Sounds good. You've too long called the wizard a coward, and so you yourself will not be a coward.
Right.
The skeleton on the roof, after being hit by your Toll the Dead, you don't know if it's malicious or just that's what he's doing anyway. He will fire back at you and will again strike true. But only this time it will graze your cheek, doing only 3 points of damage to you. The other skeleton is going to shamble its way forward, raising forward its grotesque claws and attempt to slash at the barbarian. With no regard for common decency, he doesn't even introduce himself. He gets lucky too. And we'll do... Also, not a lot of damage. 4 whole points of damage to the barbarian as he attempts to introduce himself the rudest way possible. But that does mean that it is the barbarian's turn, and he has a skeleton that is currently in his face. What would you like to do?
Not for long. I want to swing my sword at it.
Give him the old boop.
Yep. I'm not raging yet. None of my friends have been too
hurt.
Yeah,
you haven't taken too much damage yet either.
Pretty good off that last swing. So yeah, let's give him a good whack. All right, rolling dice. Oops.
And if you
Ooh.
So with the sort of rocky terrain and having already hit you, you're used to compensating for the sort of unbalanced, awkward sword that you usually have. And so as you strike down, you actually end up missing the skeleton, despite its incredible accuracy, which of course probably hurts you a little bit right here. But what can you do?
Yes, and feels.
Which means, oh, I completely forgot. All right. And the wizard's going to go ahead and he'll fire at the one up on the roof. Ooh, he finally hits. Well, mediocre damage. So his bolt of fire goes flying up, striking the skeleton. Skeleton remains, however, which means it is Millie's turn. What would you like Millie to do?
Did you just move the spooky guy a little bit in there? Or what?
So as you look over towards the pile of treasure, you realize that you no longer see him, as he has crept his way deeper into that tower.
Spooky. Millie is spooked.
He is being super spooky.
Let's see. Let me look at my, like, this Skelly is right in front of me. I might just want to smack him.
Yeah, you've got a mace. You can absolutely swing the mace.
He's within 5 feet.
Yeah, you can kind of step forward into melee with him.
All right, I'm gonna do that.
Sounds good. Let's see. What do you got for your actions? Your mace is a +3 to hit. It's not great, but it's not bad. You actually, since you're not in melee combat yet, you might be better served to take a step back and pull out your light crossbow. However, you're better at hitting and it does more damage. However, it will mean that you'll have to put your shield down for a minute to be able to fire because the crossbow is two-handed. Do you want to risk the crossbow or step in with the mace?
I'm ready to mace him.
Alrighty. Go ahead and roll to hit. It's a d20 +3.
I got that 17, so 20.
Oh, that'll definitely hit. And then it's a d6 +1 for your damage.
Hey.
He's going to take 4 damage.
I double rolled there.
It's all good. And then it is his turn to swing back. While he did not like that you were hitting him, he is more interested in trying. Actually, no, you actually hit him. He doesn't care about the barbarian anymore. Sorry, you've been relegated due to your missing. However, again, the concept of a shield seems to befuddle enemies near and far as he just whacks himself ineffectually against the steel wall that is your shield. The one up above will take a shot off at you again. Ooh, this one, however, as you are attempting to defend against the one in front of you, the skeleton above will manage to get a shot in, doing another 4 points of damage to you.
Shoot. I'm feeling a little squishy.
It's funny. Your AC is actually pretty substantial. It's just
I know.
Rolling pretty good. All right. That does mean that Micah, it is. Oh wait, the wizard. Did the wizard go? We'll say he hasn't gone. He's going to fire his firebolt at the one up in the sky because he doesn't like that. And surprising no one, he misses.
Oh, what do we bring you along for?
He's there to identify the magic.
He's got the map.
All right.
Exactly. He can also tell you exactly what the magic items do if you have a little bit of time that you're not fighting. Which means that Baron is ready to go. What would you like to do? Keep on swinging that big old sword?
Yeah, I'm swinging again at Skeleton Man.
Give him what for? Let's see how it goes.
Oh, yeah, okay. You require...
Let's construct additional pylons.
Huh.
That's enough. A 17 will... Oh, no, 18, because you've got a +7, right?
I have a...
Oh, yeah, you got a +7 to hit. So that'll absolutely hit. As you strike forward, you swing low and bring it up into his ribs and chest cavity. Let's go and do 2d6 plus 5.
Right. Big damage.
10 points of damage. And with that single sweeping motion, you not only break his spine and ribs, but his arm goes flying through the air and flumps into the dirt, just sort of over here-ish.
Is it twitching at all?
No, it has gone inert. It seems to, once the skeleton gets pulled apart,
Ragged
it doesn't.
wizard. Let's say, aim better next time.
He'll sort of shrug and say, "What do you got there? You guys got some cool new stuff? What is it?" However, there's still a skeleton up on the roof. Mackenzie, Millie is up. What did you want to try to hit that skeleton up there with?
Let's see what kind of. Well, if I do the Toll of the Dead again, it's more damage, right?
It is indeed. Do you want to do that?
Yeah.
Go ahead and roll a d12 for me.
Toll the dead, get their money.
I might have double rolled or I might have not rolled. Let's see.
Looks like you did.
Click.
Oh,
Oh, I fall
Big-
flat on my face.
big damage. However, the wizard being irritated that he has not been able to participate, no, he's gonna try to, there we go, with vigor. He fires his firebolt, with max damage, and you watch as the skeleton is incinerated and falls and slumps to the ground, out of line of sight on the top of the tower. You pause for a moment, listening, and the castle has again gone silent. This sort of gentle shuffle of feet, slap against the stone in the distance, and the sort of rattle of bones can be heard echoing off the walls, but at a much farther away location. Clearly, there's still undead here, but within the immediate vicinity, you are no longer being threatened.
All right. We can venture deeper in, right?
Yeah, I mean,
But we can venture deeper in where the better loot is, I assume.
Yeah.
Or there's that sweet pile of gold right there, though, too.
Yeah, there's more of the castle. There's the pile there. You got options. For his part, Eldon will sort of jog up to the group of you and have a quick look over the stuff, stroking his beard. He'll take some time to cast a spell using ritual magic. It does take 10 minutes to cast, but if you are willing to wait that time, he can give you more information about the things that you have.
heck yeah.
After doing some magic, he gives you the incredibly useful piece of information that the javelin and all 5 of the arrows have the School of Evocation magic on them. That evocation is your classic, if you're wanting to summon fireballs or whatnot, school of magic.
Okay.
For instance, let me check some of your spells. Burning Hands is an evocation spell. Cure Wounds, Fairy Fire. Actually, I think you're almost entirely evocation magic. So yeah, this is very much in your type. So not only do the arrows do that, but also the other ones. Let's go ahead and let's get an investigation roll from both of you.
Investigation.
+0.
I have a -1. All right, roll.
So you're able to as you're looking very closely at the arrows, you find some symbols sort of etched into the heads. Which again, the heads are bigger than you'd expect. They look almost like big drill heads. There's a thickness to them. They probably won't affect how they fly, but presumably there's something in there. The red one has this small symbol of flames carved into it. The green one has what looks like a droplet. The blue one, has sort of a jaggedy, almost lightning bolt looking thing on it. The gray one has what looks like clouds on it. And then the white one has a snowflake carved into it.
Mysterious.
All right.
Yeah.
What shall we do?
Venture deeper into the castle or head along the outskirts, spying your way in?
I'm quite curious about this spooky tendril creature that was caressing the gold. Have you any interest in that, or would you like to?
You're the stinker.
Well,
because my instinct is to go for the guts. So that's the inside of the castle.
well,
But
something mysterious is happening. It was here and now it's gone. It ventured deeper into the tower.
okay, well, all right, let's follow
My
that.
curious nature says we could follow that. But,
Okay,
but what? This is a democracy.
no, you follow Gentleman.
Did you want to do stealth to try and get closer without it noticing?
That would be great.
Sounds good. Whoever would like to can roll stealth. For his part, Eldon is going to hang back as he is bad at stealth.
Okay,
+1, I got +3. Ooh.
We got some good numbers there. So the two of you are able to creep along here. And as you get there, you can peek around the edge. And the creepy crawly, and I wonder if, yeah,
not good at aiming, not good at seeing.
has, you can kind of see him in there.
Oh, I see.
He's basically just, oh goodness.
Earthquake.
Yeah, you can kind of see him in there. He's basically just crept around the corner.
Okay.
He's in there. He's just. He's just put himself up against the wall and kind of out of line of sight. Oh, there he is. Perfect. So yeah, you guys basically using the wall here to creep along. You can get to the corner, so you can kind of look around in at him.
Can we? Is there any more like investigating we could do without him noticing us? Like see if there's anything else in the room that we should be worried about.
Yeah, as you sort of peek around the corner. Yeah, go ahead and both of you give me a perception check. As you both did pretty good on your
3.
Oh, wow. Okay. So you notice a couple things right off. Firstly, and most importantly, this guy is alone in this room. Secondly, not only is there a pile of gold here, but you also see there are a couple what looks like glass vials sort of hidden in and amongst the things there. So there's clearly some potions in that pile of treasure as well.
Okay.
Okay.
But there's also not any other enemies. But you do also notice, and I'm going to do a quick move with the camera, is that there is a hole up above. And you could probably, if you wanted, if one of you were to climb up over the building, you could come in from the top.
Do sneaky on him.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Athletics. How athletic are you?
I'm pretty athletic.
You're very athletic.
So did you want to try and crawl up the wall?
I can and I'll come down.
Yeah, you can javelin him or sword him or whatever.
Yeah, all right. I'm gonna start climbing.
Sounds good. Go ahead and roll for me in athletics.
Iron climb tower.
Yes.
So that is going to be a 14. Luckily, with the tower being sort of this this jaggedy rocks that have long since the grout around them that would make it harder to climb has been weathered and pushed away, you managed to climb yourself up the wall. Now, you notice a couple of things having managed to get yourself to this vantage point. I'll go ahead and wrap you around here. So there's you looking all pretty. What you also notice, though, is there is a sort of central area, and in that central area, a ghastly figure sits atop a throne.
Ooh.
But behind that wall and behind him, there is, let me see if I can get the right angle for it, an even larger pile of treasure
I knew it.
within that tower. However, you do still have your current problem, which is the undead that has snuck himself, or that has himself hole up in this structure here. So, do you have some sort of signal that you've devised to let her know that you're about to attack, or is the signal you attacking? Oh, you can kind of see his tendril down there. Creepy.
Oh, look at that spooky
Ooh,
thing.
the tendril. I think my signal was that I was attacking.
Okay. Did you want to try out the javelin?
Yellow. Yeah. I'm gonna take that javelin and I'm gonna jump down through the hole with it in my hand, and I'm gonna attempt to bring it down through the skull of the tendril man.
Sounds
with all my dwarven might.
So go ahead and roll for me an attack.
All right.
You'll have advantage because it didn't see this coming. I'm gonna go ahead and put him into the light so he's a little cooler and spookier.
Oh, so spooky. Ooh, that's a good roll.
Alrighty. So that is definitely a hit. So as you cock back and throw the javelin at this guy, as you come running down this sort of rubble embankment, you don't throw a javelin, but rather a full-on bolt of lightning leaves your hand and arcs between you and your enemy. As it strikes into the creature, and luckily there's no thunder, it just is lightning, it definitely feels the full brunt of this electrical attack. So you're going to roll 1d6 for the damage for the javelin itself, and then another 4d6 for the lightning.
4?
4. So it'll be a total of 5d6.
Sweet. All right.
And you're also adding your strength modifier onto that, so an additional 4. My goodness. So 26 points of damage worth of electricity come arcing out of your hand and slam into this this poor critter. He's just petting his gold. He didn't know what hit him. So while I'm sure that Millie is taken a little aback, she has no time to think as she and then did you want to hit him with a spell or with your mace? Or with one of those arrows that you got?
Oof. I think I'll hit him with a spell.
Alrighty, which one are you feeling?
Let's see.
You've Burning Hands, Guiding Bolt, let's see, Flaming Sphere and Scorching Ray are all attack spells, as well as Sacred Flame and Word of Radiance. Oh, and Toll the Dead. Let's do
Burning Hands.
Alrighty. It's a classic. He's, no matter what, is going to take some damage from this. So go ahead and roll for me 3d6, and he's going to roll to attempt to dodge. He will have disadvantage because he was not ready for you to pop out of the corner. So yeah, you. So with the combined force of you striking it with the lightning bolt and you hitting it with your flaming hands, this is more than this undead can handle, and he is struck down in his prime. Well, not really. He's been dead for years.
I feel kind of bad. We just kind of murdered that guy.
He's already dead.
He's dead again.
Like those tendrils.
At this point, for his part, Eldon will come running forward, magic crackling from his hand, ready to fight, just to say, "Oh, well, he's dead now." So he'll pull out the bag of holding and begin shoveling the gold into the bag, but will have a quick look at the potions and sort of hand them up to you guys and say, "Well, looks like this is a transmutation potion. And he'll look at the next one and say, this one is as well. And then the final one, he'll say, I recognize this one. It's Alchemist Fire. Small person, and then an arrow, and then a bigger person. Full of what looks like a spider web on it.
Ooh.
So one potion's gonna make me bigger to rage more.
You're not sure exactly. He is also not sure. He says that he has, he'll say, I have a number of identify spells, but as I use them, I won't be able to cast other spells. There's one that you want me to identify, I can, but it's at a cost. Not financially, obviously, but my effect.
Sure, but he's been pretty like useless.
But I've been trying.
So there was spider web,
small man to big man.
make bigger man, and then alchemist fire.
Alchemist fire.
For modern terms, it's essentially he'll explain that it's like napalm and a Molotov cocktail had a horrifying alchemical baby.
Okay.
When the in the inner parts of it is exposed to air, it will explode and do lots of damage.
Nice. Okay.
All right.
I'm gonna give you that one.
All right. You can take the get bigger potion.
I'm gonna mention that I saw the ghastly figure and the bigger pile of loot,
Ooh.
and wonder if Eldon knows any more about the ghastly figure on the throne.
He'll say, well, it would seem that this place most likely has some sort of leader. Either that or Dagar Dragonspear, the original founder of this castle, remains here even in death, mourning the loss of his copper dragon friend, and of course the desecration of his castle.
Of course.
However, I believe if we haven't gotten his attention yet, we may still be able to sneak around behind him and get to that larger pile that you mentioned.
That's true. It
If
wasn't.
you don't want to confront him head on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's go for that. I like
Okay.
that. Let's try some more sneaking.
We're here for treasure, then treasure will chase.
So go ahead and give. As you begin making. Oh goodness.
Ugh. Millie is just offered game today.
Oh, wrong one.
Yeah, the D12 won't do you much good.
Yeah. Okay.
So now if you'd like, you can use your inspiration to have your friend reroll as well. Inspiration is pretty versatile. So if you'd like, you can use that inspiration to give him a reroll.
So I could let him reroll instead of me.
Yeah, so essentially, as you see him about to step down on like a dried twig, or something, you can like sort of grab him and be like, "No!"
That's what I'll do.
Okay.
Ready? So go ahead and reroll. That's much better. A group of you are able to Scooby-Doo style do yourself a sneak, and luckily, with the ground being sort of sunken the way it is. You can slither your way around through the area and find yourself here. Give me just a sec. For this one, be right back.
No problem. It's like you need a whole for live events, how there's like dozens of cameras that.
Yeah. Just the cameras all over the place. Well, the only problem is because you guys can kind of go wherever, it's hard to know exactly where I should keep the cameras.
Oh,
But
sure.
the reveal. There is a cavernous hole that is set just in front of this tower. There's a piece of flagstone that sits right here, creating a small bridge that would lead you into this opening. However, it is a thin area and does look like it might be a little slippery. As the group of you head closer, you can feel the rush of wind, the rush of air coming out of this hole as some sort of flowing deep within causes air to rush out. And then as you stand there for a moment, the wind will calm and then begin rushing in as though something beneath was sucking in a great breath of air. This pattern of air going in and out continues as you stand there. A slow breathing in and out. So would you like
air
to do?
comes out of it too and goes in?
Yes. You can feel sort of a rush of air coming in and out of the hole. It's methodic. It's about 20 seconds in, a pause of 10 seconds, and then 20 seconds out.
This is spooky as heck.
You want to toss that napalm down
I was
there?
thinking I should toss that down there.
Do it.
You gonna do it?
We're gonna toss the napalm down. Yeah.
Alrighty.
Not characteristic of Millie, but Millie's gonna just live like she's dying.
You inspired me.
Like. Oh wait, so who's throwing the fire?
Millie is.
Millie is? Alrighty. So you step forward, and as you step onto the piece of flagstone, you feel the ground sort of sink beneath you, and you can almost hear the squelching sound of some sort of gooey something underneath your feet, which disturbs you because it hasn't rained in several days. But you cock back, pull the with your alchemical thing over your head, and you toss it down.
And back up quickly.
And back up quickly. You can't see where it goes, but you hear it falling for far too long. You count second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds. You guess that this thing has probably fallen for at least 100 feet before there is, at a great distance, an explosion. Now, there's a part of you thinks that you may have disturbed some sort of internal structure, because as soon as the explosion hits, there is a deep rumbling beneath you. And then as this plume of smoke rises, so too does a sound that seems like a bellowing from deep within the bowels of this, whatever cavern lays underneath it. And the whole of the castle begins to rumble, as clearly you have agitated something deep within.
Well, fellas, it's been a great 2 hours.
Well, you're not done quite yet. You've still got the giant pile of treasure, and as you're watching it, the coins begin to sort of slide off as it vibrates and almost open up. Did you guys want to defend as Eldon goes in to try and collect the treasure? Did one of you guys want to try and get it?
I don't know.
The ground is also at this point shaking a little bit, so you will have to do an acrobatics to get across that small gap. Or you can just do a running jump. Both are options.
Am I able to use my stone cunning to help us at all?
Let's
be appropriate.
Let's go ahead. Yeah, let me pop over and remind myself exactly what stone cunning does, because the wording will be important right now. Racial traits. Stone cunning. Whenever you make an intelligence history check related to the origins of stone, you can you are considered proficient in history and add double your proficiency bonus to the check. So that means that you're going to add 4 to this. Unfortunately, your intelligence is a -1, so you're only adding 3 to it. So go ahead and roll me a d20, and let's add 3 to it as you make a quick assessment of the stonework and try to think to yourself, okay, what's happening here? All right. So you get a 13. That's not bad. As you look at the stone, you realize a couple of things. Firstly, you don't think that small explosion should have caused this much sort of instability, unless basically the entire ground underneath you is hollowed. Is seen to have sort of been weathered and damaged, and many fights have happened here. As you look at the stone, there's an odd quality to it. And in fact, actually, the thing that you notice the most is as the coins are sort of vibrating and rolling, most of them are falling off, but there's left with sort of a pile of what looks like gold that's been fused together.
Okay.
So So there is actual gold there, but there's also some like gold-like mound on that pile.
Well,
Well, is it?
let's
Should
figure out
we
what it
should we
is.
try to get across there? If it's not all gold, is it worth it?
There's still quite a substantial amount of gold there.
All right, then yes, it's worth it.
So who's gonna try to get across?
I'm gonna run and jump across.
Ooh, I like it.
Legs.
So you make a run and jump. You kind of cock back, run and leap across. And as you do so, I would like you to give me a perception check.
Okay.
Ooh.
Okay.
So you make it across the gap and you land on the other side. You turn to Eldon, who is already in the middle of getting ready to toss you the bag of holding. And you can begin shoveling the gold into the bag just as quick as you can. Meanwhile, what is Millie doing while he's doing that?
I think if he's got the gold shoveling handled and she's just kind of standing back looking around, keeping an eye, making sure nothing's sneaking up on us.
Okay, go ahead and give me a perception check.
Make sure we can leave with our gold.
Yeah. 10 plus 2.
So you notice a couple of things. Firstly, the ground seems odd under Baron's feet. There's just something that makes you uncomfortable about it. In addition, you hear noises coming from the hole, the tube. It's almost sort of a slapping, sort of wet sound. You're not sure what it is, but it almost sounds like a giant snake or some sort of meaty mass hitting against stone walls.
Ugh.
Like a basilisk.
Disgust check.
It's pretty gross.
Nat 20.
I like it. So at this point, the rumbling gets to a fever pitch, and I'm going to need our good friend the dwarf to give me an acrobatics check as the ground underneath him raises up.
Oh, geez.
Almost as if the whole of the ground were had lifted to try and push you into the hole.
Okay.
Ooh! So as the ground lifts and pushes itself up, you're able to twist and push off, throwing yourself onto the edge. And as you do so, you find that at this point, you catch a quick glance into the hole, and there are tendrils, long tentacles that are lifting up out of the hole. And in addition, as you land on the other side, you hear a wailing sound. And as you look, passing through the wall itself,
No.
the ghost passes through and is headed your direction. So I need everyone to roll initiative.
All right.
Ooh, matching.
That does unfortunately mean that the other things will get to probably go first. But the good news is Eldon will get to go before that.
Don't screw this up.
Yeah.
Eldon, I believe in you. You've been with us for days now. Now's your time to shine. For glory!
All right.
Millie's just kicked out in the background, like, where's my hand sanitizer?
All right, so he's going to reach out with his hand, and he'll go ahead and 4 bolts of fire will come streaking out of his palm and fly towards the ghost. Excuse me. As he says, "Be gone! Return to the afterlife!" Ooh, he actually doesn't do too bad. My goodness. He actually hits with all of them.
That's our man.
Eldon.
I never lost faith in you.
As the beams of energy slam into the ghost, you watch as it seems to become less sort of in focus and less present. He's definitely done an incredible amount of damage to this thing as it wails out. However, as it takes this damage, it will raise its hands, and a dark, foreboding energy seems to rise up from within itself. And I need all you guys to give me wisdom saving throws. So your saving throws are going to be a little bit different than your normal, just regular checks. If you look at your attributes, just below it should say saving throws, and a couple of them you will have proficiency with. In addition, because you are a Lightfoot halfling, Millie, you're going to get advantage on this one because this is a fear effect.
Oh, excellent.
+1 to wisdom.
All right, so you're good. Oh, wow, and so are you. Now let's see how Eldon does, or if his heart is filled with fear.
Oh, let me guess.
Oh my goodness. So all three of you feel this deep, soul-gripping chill grab your very essence. But as you look at this creature having already been blasted by the fire of Eldon, you think to yourself, we got this. Ain't no thing.
I know. I'm afraid. No ghost.
Which means, Mackenzie, you are up. What is Millie doing?
Well, it seems like a good a time as any to try to shoot it with one of these fancy arrows.
Ooh, I like it. Which arrow are you going to draw?
Flames seem to do well, but I want to do something interesting. Let's try the green one.
I like it. So you draw your you place the green arrow into the bow or into your crossbow. You cock it back. You take aim and fire. Go ahead and roll the hit. You've got a +5 to hit. Unfortunately, that is not enough. The arrow, so you kind of think of sort of normal anatomy as you fire, and this thing shifts and flows as it stands, and it will the arrow will embed itself in the wall just behind the ghost. But as it does, it explodes, causing acid to fly all over the place and start dribbling down the wall, causing it to crumble and melt.
My only acid arrow. Dang it.
Which means, Micah, it is now Baron's turn. What would you like to do?
All right. I think I want to take that small to big man potion.
Ooh, I like it. Let me grab
No.
the thing.
Because you know the only thing that fights a big monster is a bigger dwarf.
That's right. I'm a full-size
You grab the potion, pull the cork, slam it back, and as you drink it, you feel suddenly an incredible sensation washing over you, as you no longer are your normal size, but rather you grow to an incredible height, double in height. Your sword growing with it to a magnificent, enormous slab of shiny metal. So let's see.
Millie hides behind your foot.
I mean, technically you could already hide behind it, but yeah, now it absolutely is a lot easier too. So you have been hit with the enlarge potion. While it does seem very snazzy, unfortunately it doesn't do maybe as much as you would have liked. It will mean that you do increased damage and have advantage on all your strength-based checks. You're also much bigger, so your reach has increased.
Oh, okay.
Also, you happen to be covering up both the other people. So that is you. You do still have your move action if you'd like to move somewhere.
I'm just going to position myself in between Millie and Eldon and the ghost.
Sounds good. So you
In an
brace
intimidating
for
fashion.
the attack. As you do so, a couple of things happen. Firstly, the ghost will begin, will fly its way itself towards you. And as it does so, a tentacle will burst out from the tunnel and will attempt to wrap around your leg to pull you in. So go ahead and give me an athletics. You have advantage on this one because, you know, you're big and scary.
All right.
I also rolled absolute trash.
That's not a good tentacle.
No. I mean, you can see that there's scorch marks on it. You clearly hit this thing with some fire. So you can actually roll one more time since you have advantage. And
Nice.
your athletics is a +6. My goodness. Wow. Yeah. So this tentacle tries to wrap around you, and you very easily just kick it off, so it's no longer attached to you. The ghost, however, is going to also try to give you a hug.
Got some affectionate people here.
Apparently, though, the massive amounts of fire damage that it took made it so that it's not very good at the whole clawing thing. So while they're sad about their inability to do anything useful, it is not the end of the world. Eldon gets to go. He, seeing the tentacles come up, will decide that those are not good and will fire some magic missiles at them, doing 9 whole points of damage. It's not a lot, but hey, it's something.
He's trying his best now.
And it is Mackenzie. It is Millie's turn. What would you like to do?
Well, got 4 more arrows to try here.
Sounds good.
Let's
Red, blue, gray, or white?
Let's do blue.
Blue it is. So you pull back and actually you lock back your light crossbow, aim, and fire. Roll the hit. You've got a +5. There we go. That is a 21 that will absolutely hit. So the first thing you're going to do is going to roll yourself a D8 for the actual arrow itself, because the arrow still hits. And then you're going to roll 4d6 for the electricity damage as bolts of lightning come striking out in every which way.
You said 4?
Yes.
Ooh.
Alrighty. That's pretty sizable. Oh man, between you and that's the blue one gone. So that is actually enough to kill off this ghost.
Oh my gosh.
You guys came at it with a lot of damage very quickly.
He seemed like the big bad guy, so.
Yeah. There are, however, still tentacles that are beginning to reach up and out in front of you.
Can Millie still take like a couple steps away?
Yeah, you just kind of step away.
A few more paces between me and the tentacles.
As you begin making your way farther away, you feel outside of the normal sort of rumblings of the ground, you hear another sort of rumbling. As you begin making your way towards the kind of out and away from the mess. Let's go pull over here. An abomination of both bone and stone is making its way your direction. Clearly, whatever happened has gotten this thing's attention, and it clearly would like to tussle with you. What would you like to do?
He knows where we're at. We got this big boy, so I don't know that we can sneak away.
You could probably hide at this point, and if you broke line of sight and made yourself throw up the potion, you could shrink back to normal size and try to hide.
Make yourself throw up.
Well, I am pretty drunk. So,
If I like hide, can I then like surprise him later?
Yes.
Could we cause a collapse of the stone somewhere to block his path?
Oh, okay. I like it. So this stone here is actually in his sort of line that he's coming towards you. So as he is stepping forward, if you can ram and push this over, you might be able to collapse it on him, making it so that you could make a hasty getaway.
I am pretty big right now. I think we should take advantage of that.
You give that a try?
Just like, yeah,
Sure.
like
I
Donkey
like it.
Kong roll it.
So with you running forward, what is Eldon is going to? What is he going to do? Oh, he has to have a spell for this. He doesn't. He sadly doesn't. So you run forward, slamming yourself bodily into the side. You'll have advantage. Go ahead and give me an athletics. Roll 2d20 and take the higher of the two. As this steps forward, attempting to get himself close enough to attack you. Oh,
I like that one.
Alrighty. So yeah, you full body check this chunk of wall, and your knowledge of structure makes it so it's very easy for you to sort of push this partial wall onto this thing. The stones collapsing and covering the creature. It is at this point is trying desperately to get itself out of the stones. Did you want to stay and try to bludgeon it to death, or make your getaway with your booty?
Can I don't know.
You can't spend the gold if you're dead.
I'm just thinking, could I like snowflake? Could I white arrow it and freeze it there? So
Ooh.
we can run?
I like where your head's at. Go ahead and fire that arrow. You have advantage. Actually, no, it's under a giant pile of stones. You absolutely. So you fire the arrow, and you are 100% on the money with that. That was in fact a frost arrow. And as you slam into it, you watch as the stones of this, the stones and bones of this creature begin sort of seizing up as the rocks are getting frozen to it, making your getaway even easier.
All right.
I'm full of wisdom.
Let's book it.
I like it. So the group of you make a hasty retreat, putting Castle Dragonspear to your back and heading back to everyone's favorite location, Waterdeep.
Yeah, Washington.
And I would figure we'd go a little bit longer because we took a little time to get started, but I think this is the perfect place to stop. So I guess what we'll do with this remaining time is see if I can answer any questions for you guys about the system, about what your character sheet says, anything like that. Maybe
I thought you did a really great job of explaining everything.
Yeah.
Once we got going, I didn't really have any questions. I guess just it would be getting used to how some of the different like racial traits and spells can be applied to different situations. Because like my stone cunning isn't applicable everywhere, but was useful with Mr. Big Stone Man.
It's true. And so one of the things that you have as a dwarf is you're actually trained to use light and medium armor, which I'm not sure. I don't think barbarians, for the most part, don't get as much benefit from armor. Excuse me. So yeah, you have proficiency with light armor, medium armor, and shields. When you're wearing armor, you can't use your Constitution modifier to add to your AC. But when you're not wearing armor, your Constitution modifier plus your Dexterity modifier plus 10 is how you get to that 14 AC.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So if you can increase, so when you hit level 4, you get to either gain a feat or increase your stat, increase 2 stats by 1 or 1 stat by 2. So you can up your dex to make it so that you're that much more, good at jumping out of the way of things. But yeah, this whole fight you did bare-chested. Well, essentially bare-chested.
Yes.
Because barbarians are designed to fight without that armor.
Bare-chested plus that arrow sticking out of you still.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, like even once you were raging, though, taking half damage is such an incredible damage mitigation. It's really nice.
Yeah, that was awesome.
To add to the confusion, Mackenzie, because your spellcaster is what's called a prepared spellcaster, every morning when you're preparing, you can change the spells that you have prepared. So if you go to your spell section, and you go to, is manage spells on there? It should be up near the top.
Up near the top.
What are you looking for?
Manage spells.
Yeah, so if you go to manage spells and then go up to the top, it says spells known. You have 3 cantrips and those don't change, but then you can prepare 5 spells per day out of a list of 37 spells. So you have
We're still looking. You can't find the managed
Oh,
spells.
it might be because these you guys don't have these ones. I'm gonna here. I'll do this. Boop, boop. Let me. So if you go to that, so you go to your spells, go to manage spells. So these are the spells you have prepared. You always have Burning Hands, Fairy Fire, Flaming Sphere, and Scorching Ray prepared because you're a cleric of light.
Mhm.
In addition, though, you could, if you wanted, you have 5 spells you can prepare. So you've got this whole list of spells that you could change out one of those spells for.
Okay.
That's just the first level spells. You've also got your second level spells, which has more options. So you can change a lot of your spells out.
Awesome.
But yeah. And then
Yeah, much to learn for sure.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna go deep in that book.
There's also a lot of interesting things that you can do in combat. For instance, you don't have to always when you attack people. So if you go into frenzy, it'll take a bonus action to go into frenzy, but on subsequent turns, you can use your bonus action to attack again. What that
Oh,
means is that you can use your normal action to do what's called the shove attack, where you just push someone over. That's helpful because once they've fallen on the ground, you then can, when you attack them, you have advantage because they're laying on the ground, the little
Right.
slippers. And what's great too is because you're raging, you have advantage on athletics. And athletics, you roll opposing their either athletics or acrobatics to see if you can knock them over. Or if you say fighting next to that hole, you can push them 5 feet in whatever direction you want. So just shove them into the hole.
Right.
So yeah, frenzying is a lot of fun because you can do that. You can do those extra attacks with your bonus action. The only problem is you run into that issue of you get a level of exhaustion afterwards, which gives you disadvantage on all skill checks.
Okay.
You're a sleepy boy.
Because I'm a sleepy boy.
Exactly. But barbarians are a lot of fun, and as you keep leveling up, you'll get an increase in speed. There's a lot of interesting things that they have available to them.
Very cool.
Yeah. So,
Yeah,
did you have any
awesome.
questions for me?
I don't think so. I feel like so much of it is just practicing and
Yeah, I need to absorb what I've learned.
getting comfortable.
Yeah. And you guys have these access to these character sheets for as long as you want. Feel free to use them. I have your email. We're looking at trying to set up some more like sort of long-term campaigns. But if nothing else, I have a lot of contact information for a lot of other D&D players in the area. So we're looking into figuring, trying to help people find other groups if you want to continue playing.
Oh, awesome.
That'd
yes,
be wonderful.
absolutely.
Yeah, I've been wanting to start a group or, join a group for a long time, but where I was living, I just moved up here, but where I was living before in South Georgia, there was like one group that met only on days I couldn't meet. I was like, oh.
Yeah, I grew up in Southern Idaho, so I know the feel when it's having a hard time finding groups. So
Yeah.
Well, this was like a great intro, and it was
Awesome.
super fun, and you did great making us not feel nervous. And
No, yeah, you were
Good.
awesome.
You guys caught on really well, and I'll be honest, I play D&D a lot with kids. We have a kids D&D program, so actually playing with adults is a breath of fresh air. More high level concepts, you guys actually catch on to it pretty easy.
Sure.
So that was nice. And honestly, I kind of like smaller groups sometimes. Your classic party is a party of 4. But there's something very nice about having just the 2 players, so you can like really, you get to really be the hero of the story, which I enjoy.
Right.
Yeah. No, I had a lot of fun.
Me too.
Good.
It was wonderful.
Well, keep an eye on your email. I'll probably be sending out more information here in the next couple of weeks. I know that things are weird with stuff going on, but
That is weird as they get.
Yeah. Apparently, we're supposed to be able to have groups of 5 come in on the 1st. We'll see if that actually happens.
Oh wow! Well, we're here. We're local here in Bothell. So.
Oh, perfect.
Yep.
Well, I'll look forward to it. Until then, y'all have fun. Have a wonderful night and stay safe out there.
Yes. Thank you so
too.
much.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Take care.